Hi guys, welcome to Dan and Kev's Wrestling Talk Show. Back again for another Sunday where we're going to be discussing Raw, NXT and Smackdown, and a couple of other bits, probably the recent sackings, dismissals, whatever you want to call it. Let's hope that's it for this year, because have you seen the list for 2021, which is only 6 months? I mean,
yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it's not good. I think certain people need to be careful, if I'm being honest, because we know what Vince is like for holding a grudge. I mean, me and you were talking weeks ago before we even started this podcast, and I think that you were spot on. Look at Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is probably the most ready set guy that they have at the minute, and he has been for years, and they haven't used him. Why? Because Chris Jericho's gone. So Vince is pissed at Jericho, but he can't punish Jericho because he's gone. So he's going to punish Owens instead, which I think is why he's been overlooked and underused for the last 3 years since Jericho's left. And I think there's people that need to be very, very careful at the minute. I think Cedric Alexander's one of them. He's very active on Twitter, and he's obviously feels bad that his friends have been sacked and stuff. But when he's liking and retweeting and commenting on posts that people are talking bad about WWE and saying, I can't wait until my 60-day period's up and I can tell you guys, I mean, Ari Daivari has really gone to town. Tony Nese. There's been a few, and that was obviously released a few days ago, that have really gone to town and said, you have no idea just how bad it was inside that company, and as soon as I can talk about it, I'm going to tell you everything and this and that. And Ari Daivari saying stuff like, I can't wait until I can get back to doing proper pro wrestling, because what I've been doing for the last few years is rubbish. And when you've got people like Cedric Alexander that still work there, that are retweeting and liking and commenting like that, Vince and the other officials at WWE aren't going to like that. And I think some people need to be careful, especially like a Cedric Alexander, because they will just bin him off. Like this isn't a Randy Orton or a Roman Reigns who can pretty much do or say what they want, and Vince will go, well, we need these guys because of how much money they make us. Cedric Alexander, be careful, because you will just be gone. Because it's
I mean that writer that came out and said that she didn't know who Bobby Lashley was and all of that. She was literally sacked the day after she said all of that. So yeah, be careful what you say.
Yeah, absolutely. But what do you make of these recent round of terminations? Because okay, they're not as high profile as
they're not. It was a bit like when they released a couple of years ago. If you remember, they released Epico and Primo, and people were like, "Are they still around?" Like now, when people when you say like 205 Live, or these guys were on 205 Live, some people were like, "Who is this? Who's that?" See, especially with Tony Nese and that, even though he was on WWE and NXT, some people were like, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether it's. I know it's really bad to say, but I'm wondering whether they're just cutting off dead weight, if you know what I mean.
That was completely my thought. And it was that, and it sounds horrible because I think Tony Nese. I've not actually seen that much of Ari Daivari. I've seen him have a few matches, and he is a decent enough wrestler, but it's as we've spoken about many times already. We've only done 3 of these up to this date, and we've mentioned it that many times. You have Ricochet is the best example. Ricochet is one of the best wrestlers you will ever watch. He's insane, but you're not bothered about him because he can't get himself over. His promos aren't good. His characterization just isn't there. He's not got that it. Whatever that it is, he's not got it. He's not got what Orton's got, what Shawn Michaels had, what The Rock was the other way. The Rock was all it, and then his wrestling was subpar at best. You know, there's people, and I think Ari Daivari was one of them. He was okay to watch, but he didn't do anything that made you become interested in him, which is obviously why me and you were so annoyed and frustrated with them getting rid of Aleister Black, because he did have it. He was different. He was interesting. He did do his entrance, or he said something in a promo, or he just hit his character. He did do something that made you go, "Oh, this is interesting," and he did pull you in. But I think Tony Nese and Ari Daivari, I think the ones that they've got rid of. I mean, I feel a bit sorry for like Marina Shafir, who's obviously Roderick Strong's wife, but she's also runs with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. They got rid of Jessamine Duke a few months ago. Now they got rid of Marina Shafir. But again, what was the plan? Because we're not stupid. They've obviously just brought Roderick Strong back, that we'll talk about in a minute. Because obviously this timing couldn't have been any better for us, because it really does give us something to get our teeth into. What I want to ask you is, 4 or 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago now, we've seen Roderick Strong and Marina Shafir in William Regal's office, handing in his papers saying it's time for me to leave NXT.
Yeah.
And me and you spoke back then going, what was Marina doing there? Like, most people won't know that she's his wife, and people will only associate Marina Shafir as being with Jessamine Duke and Shayna Baszler's backup when Shayna Baszler's NXT champion. What was she doing there? And the fact that she was there, they were holding hands. It did feel like that they both knew that they were leaving. That's what it felt like to me. That they both knew, we're leaving and we want to do this together. And then within, 2 days of each other, they bring Roderick Strong back on NXT in a big way, in a way where you go, oh, this is interesting. You know, what are they going to do with him moving forward? This is good. He's now the leader of his own faction, his own heel faction. This is cool. I can't wait for this. I love Roderick Strong. And then 2 days later, they beat his wife off. And it's like, surely that wasn't the plan all along. But what do you think? Do you think that they were planning on getting rid of both and then they've changed their mind on Roddy?
I don't know on that one. I think they just wanted to show that he was leaving, so everyone felt like, oh, is he actually leaving? Is he actually leaving WWE, or is he leaving for good? I think it gave a bit more of an impact, but I think she was just there, if you know what I mean. I don't think they had anything for her. But in saying that, you've also just had, obviously, Killian Dane as well released, Nikki Cross's husband.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And after he praised her as well after the superhero gimmick, which we'll come on to in a minute, that was completely her idea, and he praised her for that. And then they released him. I was almost waiting for Drake Maverick, the guy they released once before and then brought him back. Well, but they haven't. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, but even that, like, making a storyline out of it, like, they did genuinely release Drake Maverick. People think it was all a work. It wasn't. No. It became a work.
Yeah.
That was one of them where Drake Maverick, to be fair to him, was very, very clever, took the initiative, put his video out there, but he was, look, a bit of brown nose and an arse licking can get you a long way in WWE. Yeah. Just ask The Rock. That's all I'm going to say. Just ask Dwayne. But if that was what he did, he pandered to Triple H and Vince McMahon, and he was visibly very emotional, very upset when he put that video out there, and he was, saying how grateful he was to WWE, and it was a time that he'd never forget, and he's devastated that it's come to an end. But his last match in this cruiserweight elimination battle, he's gonna give his best. He's gonna give it all. And then the fans got behind him. Then the fans wanted him to win, and wanted him to do, us as fans wanted to go, well, now we want him to win, to go, you to Triple H and Vince McMahon. Yeah. So, of course, the fans jumped behind that and got behind the guy that's, the underdog. Everyone loves an underdog, right? So, and then it became a work, and obviously, but again, I mean, Triple H coming out and handing him his contract is nice of a moment it was, and I agree with him doing it that way because it makes good TV. This is a guy's life and career and dreams that you've got rid of him, and then publicly on TV. You're handing him. We know that that's not real. That's not his real contract. It's just a piece of paper in a book. But they've done it again on 205 Live. I can't off the top of my head remember what the two guys are, but they've genuinely done it again. So the next 205 Live, they're doing two wrestlers in a one-on-one match, and whoever loses leaves. And it's like this. People love that and think that's good TV, but you're messing with people's lives and careers. And when you think about it, it isn't good.
Yeah. I think when you said, oh, they're going to after the 90 days, they're going to come out and tell you what it's really like and all that sort of stuff. I find that's a little bit a bitterness on their side.
Yeah.
We've all had a job that we liked, but when we've left, we've gone, oh, it was a shithole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been in jobs like that. I've been in jobs where I loved it, loved the band, I loved the guys there, and then as soon as I've left, I've gone, oh, that place was an absolute shithole.
Yeah.
And I feel like whether it's the same thing, they're probably at the moment it's a bit raw. They're a bit pissed off.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, if they were offered to come back to WWE, they would. So,
but
that bad.
Yeah, but Kev, this isn't Aleister Black. Right? No. This isn't Braun Strowman. These are the people. This is what we're saying. I mean, absolutely zero disrespect, but these were people that were going nowhere within WWE. Yeah. That's not me saying that they're not talented, because they are. Tony Nese, I mean, he calls himself the premier athlete, and look at him. I mean, look at his body. He looks like an action figure. Like, these people are talented, and I'm sure if they go to TNA, or they go to NJPW, or they go to AEW, even though I don't think AEW will take these, to be completely honest. Again, I don't mean any disrespect, but the people that have gone now are people that weren't going anywhere. They have been digging ditches for years and going nowhere. So I'm not surprised that they're happy that they can go to a smaller company. It might not even be as big as TNA. Ari Daivari and Tony Nese probably will go to TNA, but someone like a Marina Shafir, even though people know her name because she was a cage fighter, she's been with WWE, she's best friends with Ronda Rousey, but she isn't Ronda Rousey. And that's the problem. She might go to a very, very small indie wrestling company, and she might have more fun and love doing it, and best luck to her. But you've got people like Braun Strowman and Aleister Black who could literally go anywhere. How many phone calls do you think Aleister Black's had in the last 2 weeks?
Loads. It's the same as Braun Strowman. I reckon he's had phone calls as well. But it's almost like I said, it's like football. Yeah, explain it like football. Yeah, so you're paying these guys X amount of money, but you can only have like 12 or 11 people on the pitch at a time, and they're sitting on the bench. You're pouring money into them just to sit on the bench. You would either renegotiate their contract, or you would just get rid of them. No, he's doing. Braun Strowman, he was injured quite a bit. They were paying him, 6-figure salary, and he wasn't selling anything, because you got to think that they've got to sell stuff now, so they've got to sell merchandise as well. I mean, Ali brought this up as well. He said, I remember when he joined Retribution, and he brought a T-shirt out, and he said, buy the T-shirt so I don't get fired or I don't get buried again. I think he actually put, which sort of says that in order for you to be a top guy, you not only have to have the look, you have to sell as well. You have to sell the merch as well. And I think Braun Strowman didn't do that. And when you're spending that much money on him, I think it's just like, well, we'll get rid of him because we can save whatever. I still got a funny feeling they'll bring some of these guys back.
Yeah, and the one name I'm gonna throw out to you, we've already spoke about Aleister Black. I think Aleister Black is very much. If Vince McMahon rang him now and said, "Aleister, I'm so sorry, can we bring you back?" He'd probably stick the visa up and say, "Stick up your ass. I'm gonna go somewhere else." But I know he got released a month ago, but Velveteen Dream, they have to bring him back. The problem with Velveteen Dream is, I know it was like 6 months later, but I find it very, very, very funny that the rumours came out that he was sending dick pics to underage girls, and even after the girl said, "I'm 14," he was still texting her and still trying to, arrange a hookup and stuff. And obviously, WWE said they looked into it and they found no evidence and they found him not guilty, but mud sticks a lot of the time. And if he hasn't done it, then I feel really sorry. If he has done it, then he's a paedophile. And I mean,
the thing is, I think the perfect example of this is Enzo Amore.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect example. Okay, so he started talking to a fan. The fan was like a bit crazy, whatever, and they fired him over that. And then it all come out that all of this, it was all completely bollocks. Basically, it was all nothing.
Yeah.
Yet it stuck. It still sticks with him today. It's a weird thing. So even though there was no evidence, he's found not guilty. He's completely innocent. Yeah. Even the girl who made these accusations was arrested and jailed. He is still sort of victimized for that. He's still he's the bad guy, even though and I feel a little bit like that with Velveteen Dream. He done something silly. WWE looked at it and said, we investigated it. There's nothing there. But like you say, it stuck with him, and it will stick with him. It'll stick with him until, forever. There's going to be a side where they will believe what the evidence shows, which was nothing, and then you're going to have the other lot which believes whatever they want. You know what I mean?
Of course, and it's like that with almost everything, isn't it? But I think I don't know how true it is. Again, it's all rumours, but with Enzo Amore, apparently Liv Morgan accused him of sexual harassment and stuff. Again, how true it is, I don't know. But I remember it being very, very real as well, because you can tell most of the time when it's a work and when it's real, just because of how long we've been watching it for. Yeah. And John Cena was on Talking Smack, and he came to sit to the table as Enzo Amore was leaving. And John Cena just basically, like, you could see how, like, just not angry, but just there was something bothering him. And then he basically sat down and he said, there's people in this business who want to give everything that they've got for the fans and for their colleagues to put on the best match possible and want to do the best for the company. Anyway, and then you've got people like that who's just left, who only cares about themselves. And I've got absolutely no time for people like that. And it was so real. Like, the words that he used, the way that this is John Cena, who was on his way out, and Enzo Amore, who was Cruiserweight champion at the time. There's no way their paths are going to cross. There's no way that they're setting up a bit like, it was genuine. Like, I think there was a lot of people backstage who didn't like Enzo Amore, and obviously Carmella, who originally was with them. She was obviously engaged to Big Cass, but she was with Enzo and Cass as their she used to walk out to the ring with them. She said after Enzo got sacked that he wasn't a very nice person. So maybe WWE basically used this as an excuse to get rid of a problem.
Yeah, I'll admit that. After everything was said, I think that he was an arsehole. And and I believe there's a lot of people like that. I mean, I've heard rumours of Randy Orton being like that. He's not approachable. He's a bit of an arse. But I mean, shall we get on to Raw, NXT, SmackDown now?
Yeah. Let's crack on.
What did you think of Raw this week?
It's a funny one for me, because me and you have a very similar opinion, which I'm sure you'll get into a minute after I've had my little rant, because you know what I'm like. You know me so well. Obviously, there was a girl that's in our wrestling group on Facebook who said that it was the worst Raw that she's ever seen, and she's now done. She doesn't want to watch Raw anymore. And I've seen a few people on Twitter saying something similar. I'm baffled, and I love different opinions. You know, I love listening to people with other opinions.
Yeah.
You were at the end of the day, you learn something, and a lot of the time, when you see it from a different perspective, it changes your opinion on something. So, I'm all for having a different opinion, which is the whole reason why we've set up this podcast. Is because me and you are going to disagree on things. There's going to be people that comment that have a different opinion to us. That's great. That's what we want. But I am baffled by people who said that it's the worst Raw yet, and you know, now they finished, they can't watch it anymore. I'm baffled because for me, that's probably the best Raw in over a year.
It was a slight improvement. Let's put it that way.
It wasn't incredible. It far from it. I'm not sat here going, what a show. It was still dog shit. Like, call a spade a spade. It was dog shit. It was awful, but it was still better
than the previous
for a long time, because there was things that happened that made you go, "Oh, we're expecting that. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, right." So that, you know, I mean, they had Bobby Lashley 24 hours after going through a hellish Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre, have another Hell in a Cell match against Xavier Woods. Like, who didn't find that interesting? I mean, there was lots of things in that moving forward, you can see that things are starting to, you know.
I did turn around to you though, and I said, we've got the car wreck of, you know, Charlotte and Rhea Ripley again, which is, you know, what better thing to put on than another car wreck. I'm hoping that they've got 3 weeks now to sort of smooth this out and make it better than it was before. I know both of them can do what they can do, but the last couple of times we've seen them in the ring, they've been piss poor.
Yeah.
So let's hope something else. But I want to come on to Nikki Cross, really, and polarizing of that. So I love that gimmick, and my obviously, you know, I watched this with my daughters and my wife, and they loved it too. And I see loads of negativity, loads of it, and it's all from male wrestling fans, though. Saying that they've done this before and they've this is stupid, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I think, what hasn't been done before in wrestling, for starters?
Yeah.
You know, everyone's like, oh, the Hurricane, they've done this gimmick before. What haven't they done before? Tell me one thing they haven't done and used again and again on any character, you know. And also, it's the first. This is the first time. You know, she's got new music now. She's got new graphics. It's obviously something that they felt she. You know, this is her idea. So they've obviously have enough faith in her to say, well, this is your idea. You go and you run with it. Yeah, and cool. I also want to point out as well that she used to. If you've ever watched Nikki Cross's whole career, this is outside WWE. She used to have this persona anyway. She used to come out with a little cape on. And she used to flip out. So this is not new for Nikki Cross, but this is new for the WWE. I think the way that they introduced it was a bit, but ultimately, I think this is really good. Remember, this product isn't just for us. You know, this is a family product, somewhere where you can take your kids, and I guarantee you they'll love this. I mean, we probably said the same thing about the Hurricane when he first came out. As the Hurricane, went, oh my God, what's all this rubbish? By the end of it, we loved him. In fact, it's his most successful character. She's Shane Helms' most successful character. Yeah, and everyone loves him for that. Yeah. You know, and you forget as well. I think a lot of people forget as well that Roman Reigns' brother Rosie was also a superhero for a long time, and everyone remembers Rosie as well as being a superhero. So.
They also tried it with Ricochet, and it actually suited him really well. I'm surprised that they kind of went away from it, to be honest. Because what he's doing now, there's absolutely zero character to him now. There's just nothing there. He gets in the ring and he starts wrestling, and you're like, you can't. He's amazing. But at least the superhero character, to give him something. I'm completely with you. You know what? I don't like that. I get it when it's matches. So like me and you are going, oh my God, Rhea and Charlotte again. We've seen it 10 times. That's different because that's boring. When you're seeing two people in a match, it's different when it's Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. It's different when it's The Rock versus Stone Cold. It's different, if you
and Sami Zayn.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's gone now, but they had a 2-month period where pretty much every single week it was Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. Give me that match every week because it was incredible.
Yeah,
it's different when it's Charlotte and Rhea, and it isn't going as well as what it should have been given the talent of these two women, because they're both incredible. Something has happened within the women's division, specifically in Raw and SmackDown. Yeah. It's gone from being up there, the highest it's ever been, where they had their own pay-per-view.
Well, the height, I think, for them was the main event at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, of course. What they've achieved and deservedly achieved is incredible, but something has happened, and I don't know what it is, because Asuka is one of the best female wrestlers that you'll ever see. Her matches over the last 12 months have slowly got worse and worse and worse. Charlotte, I honestly thought it was impossible for Charlotte to put on a bad match. Well, just look at a recent couple of matches against Rhea. Like, Rhea, we've seen her dominate NXT UK, we've seen her dominate NXT. She's come up to Raw, they've given her the title, and has she looked good at any part of it?
Right.
Something has happened within this women's division, but again, it's a bit boring that it's Bayley versus Bianca Belair again. But as we've already said, who else have they got there on SmackDown who's going to challenge Bianca?
Yeah,
at least they put on a decent match. But again, nowhere near good enough.
Yeah. How do you think of the qualifier matches?
On Raw or on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Raw. I'm sorry to kind of like dip in and out of both, but it's the only way that I can get my point across.
Yeah.
Raw, perfect. What's your favourite thing about the Money in the Bank qualifying matches in history? And if it's different to mine, I'll be surprised. Because I'll tell you mine. My favourite thing about qualifying matches is you always get a match that's different. It's always something Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, my God, that's massive. You always get a match where it's people that aren't, they might have been on a rivalry years ago, but you always get big matches that are good matches, where it's like, it's the best of the best. That's the whole point. You've got to be the best of the best to get into the Money in the Bank match. Raw did it perfectly. You look at the matches on Raw, it's matches that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, on SmackDown, you had Big E versus Apollo. Well, they're in a rivalry at the minute. You've got Owens versus Zayn next week in a last man standing match. That'll be great. It will be a fantastic match, and especially being last man standing, it's going to be incredible. But we've just had that match a week ago.
Yeah, I think it's because if you've not looked, the roster on SmackDown is, well, there's not really one there. It's just the people that we saw this week. That's effectively it on their roster. We've got I think Montez Ford's out.
Yeah, he's injured. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's out already, and he's obviously there. I don't know. I think the matches on Raw were really good. One, because you had Drew McIntyre beat clean.
Yeah.
Randy Orton beat as well.
Yeah.
And AJ Styles as well. Beat by people like, Ricochet and that. And it's just like
Ricochet.
So, it's just it was good because we're going to get a different mix in there now. But I was really surprised that they allowed, people like AJ and especially Drew McIntyre to be pinned cleanly like that by Matt Riddle. You know what I mean?
Best thing that they could. But again, this is what I'm saying. It's why I don't understand why so many people hated this Raw. Was this Raw spectacular? No, but what you said about Raw last week, where you went, it was a little bit better than what it has been. This was miles better than what it has been. Like, how are you watching Bobby Lashley versus Xavier Woods in Hell in a Cell and not interested, and not going, oh, this is cool?
Yeah,
because I haven't had that feeling for Raw for probably a year, maybe even longer. You've got Ricochet beating AJ Styles, which is like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, Ricochet needs a push. They need to work on his character. They need to make him more interesting, because I'm telling you now, if they did something with his character and made him more of an interesting character, something that we as fans could get behind, I'd be all for him winning Money in the Bank, because look at his talent and ability in the ring. It's incredible. I wouldn't mind it, but you know, you've then obviously, like you said, you had Riddle pinning Drew McIntyre clean.
Yeah, really clean.
Because there was fans out there that were going, oh well, here we go. You know, we've just seen Bobby versus Drew 10 times in a row, and then they say, oh, he's not going to get another opportunity. Well, he's going to win this match. He'll go into Money in the Bank. He'll win the Money in the Bank, and then he'll have another shot. So what better way than saying, no, McIntyre's done for now. He's done.
Yeah.
There's no better way of doing that than having him obviously get beat in the Hell in a Cell match, and then having him lose cleanly. And I think that's why it wasn't just a roll up, or it wasn't Orton getting involved and helping him. Why it was clean.
Yeah, I think next week, or tomorrow, I should say, you've got McIntyre versus AJ versus Randy Orton for the last spot. That's going to be a real. I don't care how you put that. That is going to be an awesome match.
Who's winning it?
I still think McIntyre. I still think he's going to be a part of that, and I believe he's going to win the Money in the Bank. Whether he cashes it on Bobby or Reigns is another matter, but I still think he's going to win it.
I'm a magician, Kevin. I've been playing with your head. I knew that you was going to ask this at 32 minutes in, and I knew you was going to ask me who you think I'm going to win. And I've actually been telling you this whole time who I think is going to win that match. I've been telling you this whole time.
I still think that him and Matt Riddle are still like toying around. I still think they're going to win the tag title somehow.
Yeah,
down the line.
I've got a feeling that, and this is what I would like as well, actually.
Yeah.
Randy Orton, by taking Riddle under his I actually didn't know this. It was you that told me, actually, that it was Orton's idea to take. He went to Vince and said, "Give me Riddle. I want to work with this kid."
Yeah.
But Orton obviously wants to help the next generation now. I mean, he's still in his prime. He's still incredible, but I think he's at that point where he wants to help the younger guys, and he's obviously picked Riddle. But again, Riddle has it. Whether you find him irritating, he gets a reaction out of you. Whether you like him or not, you can't say he's not interesting. He's funny. His comedic timing is perfect. His promos are brilliant. I personally can't look at his stupid head without laughing. He just makes me laugh. You know, he's just stood there backstage. Oh, hey, Randy. And I'm laughing. I'm in bits. He's just really funny. And then you look at him in the ring. What can't he do? He's 6'2". He's built like a brick shithouse. He's athletically, the things that he can do are incredible. Again, he's got everything that you need. Maybe they put Randy in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Maybe Randy helps Riddle win it. Maybe that's what they do. And then after Money in the Bank, they win the tag titles. And then what I would love is Randy turning on Riddle to try the Money in the Bank.
Actually going to say that. Funny enough, I was actually going to say that. I think that they're going to team up later, further down the line, win the tag team titles, and then I think Riddle is going to turn on Randy Orton.
Oh, as a bit of maybe hit Randy with the RKO or the RK bro.
And that could then go into like a proper long feud. I reckon you could get at least 3 or 4 matches out of that feud, each one getting progressively sort of like he had with Mick Foley. So, you know, they start off having a singles match and it progresses to like a last man standing or a hardcore match, then a last man standing match. It just gets progressively worse until they've completely cut each other up to pieces, sort of thing. And now we're coming back to fans. I think it might be a really good time to pull that trigger, but
yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, that would be perfect. And to be honest, I can actually see it going somewhat along those lines. I think that's the way it's going to go. I think Orton wins this triple threat, and then I think Orton helps Riddle win the Money in the Bank match, and then it'll be, in my opinion, I think it'll be Randy doing what Randy does. What we all love and what we never want him to stop doing. Yeah. I think he's going to win the tag titles with Riddle, and then he's going to hit him with the RKO. And then it's going to be Riddle versus Orton. I agree. Get him in a rivalry, so have it a normal match, and then have it last man standing match. Then have a steel cage match. Then have, false count anywhere or whatever. And then eventually lead into a big match at a big pay-per-view and a match for the Money in the Bank briefcase. So whoever wins Money in the Bank. And maybe Riddle wins that, and Vince goes, Riddle's who I want to cash in and become the next champion. Or maybe they give it to Orton and they have Orton. Which personally, when Orton beat McIntyre for the belt, I wouldn't have taken it off Orton. Now I'm kind of glad that they did now, because I think Bobby Lashley is perfect at the minute. There's no one on Raw that I would rather have as champion. I think he looks like WWE champion. He looks unbeatable.
Yeah. I'll tell you what what he reminds me of, actually, and that is he reminds me of Triple H when he was in Evolution.
Yeah.
Going around with the suit on, with the thing, saying, I'm the man, I can't beat it. Going around with the ladies. He's got MVP, who is now, AKA Ric Flair version.
Yeah.
You've got to remember that they started Evolution before Batista come into it, and before Randy Orton, and it was just Triple H and Ric Flair, and they were coming out exactly like that. So they'd have sofas set up at the ring, watching people, and they'd be drinking wine, and they'd be like, and he'd be like he'd be wearing a suit all the time. It echoes Triple H and Ric Flair, Evolution, start of Evolution. Like I said before, and I'll say it again. I think breaking up the Hurt business was the wrong idea. I think you had Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Both of them are awesome. They could have accelerated them as well, but they pulled the trigger on that, and it is what it is. But I just there's 2 other things I want to do before we come off of Raw.
Yeah.
And that is why the women had tag team matches to qualify for the Money in the Bank. Why did they not have single matches? I don't know.
No,
and also, do you believe? I hope you do. But do you think they've pulled the trigger too soon on Eve Marie and Doolittle? Is that her name now?
Doudrop.
Do you reckon they also, as well? It's worth noting on that. When she was going, my name is. She was about to say Piper, and then she took the mic and said her name is Doudrop, and I was like, she was about to say Piper Evan, and then she tagged her in, and then she just jumped off. And they've only been in, like, she's only had 2 matches, Piper Evan, and they've only been on 2 Raws. I think they've pulled that trigger a little bit too soon.
You know what I think it is?
Yeah.
Eve Marie.
She's
shit.
She was shit before, mate. She was shit before.
Like, I mind, like, there's going to be people watching this that are going, what are you talking about? You're talking shit. And that's fine.
Yeah.
You're telling me you got rid of Ruby Riott to bring back this?
Yeah.
Really? Because Ruby Riott was in my opinion, the most overlooked woman on that entire roster for years. She was overlooked on NXT, which is surprising because Triple H is usually great with that. She always looked awesome on NXT. Now, you think when they were feeding Ruby Riott to Ronda Rousey, when they were feeding her to Nia Jax, when they're feeding her to Shayna Baszler, she always made the match look good. She always made her opponent look great.
Yeah.
Ruby Riott was so undervalued and underappreciated. That was a very, very talented woman who did have an interesting character. Is she good at promos? I don't know, because she was never given the opportunity to have a mic in her hand and do something. But I'm mind blown. Like, you've just got rid of Ruby Riott, who you could have actually done something with, who was like, they're trying to push Liv Morgan because she's this young, pretty blonde thing. Now, she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She is improving every time I watch her. You can visibly see that she is getting better, and I do like her. I think she does have a bright future, but she's very, very young and she's very, very green still. Ruby Riott's been doing this for over a decade. She's experienced. She knows what she's doing inside that ring. Yeah. They got rid of her to bring back Eva Marie. Why? Like, look, she's been back for 2 weeks. Look at what they've done. It was supposed to be the re-evolution, and Eva Marie is back. Well, last week she didn't even get in the bleeding ring because Piper Niven did everything for her, and then, like I said to you last week, what I found weird was when Piper Niven was trying to hug her and say, "Oh my God, that was great! I can't believe I won." Blah blah blah. Eva Marie was looking at her with disgust, like. And that to me felt genuine. That for me felt like the girl, not Eva Marie, the character. I think Natalie, the real person, is annoyed that I think she was told by WWE, "You're coming back and you're doing this, you're doing that." And then they've obviously seen her training and going, "Well, she's still dog shit." Well, she was dog shit 3 years ago when you first got rid of her.
Yeah.
She's then not wrestled for 3 years. You've then brought her back. She's had a month of training and you were expecting her to be good. I mean, so they've obviously just stuck Piper Niven with her, which is annoyed, which is why she clearly looked so frustrated. Yeah. But then last week, then on this week's Raw, they obviously she was about to say Piper Niven. I mean, you can actually see her mouthing Piper, but then Eva Marie grabbed the mic and said "Dewdrop," and it's like, well, now obviously Eva Marie's gonna have her as her bodyguard, doing everything for her, but it clearly isn't going to be that way because Piper Niven did everything and then she tagged Eva Marie in. How long was Eva Marie in the ring for? 5 seconds?
Yeah.
And then she went to tag Dewdrop back in and she obviously jumped off the rope and Eva Marie got beat. But again, we've seen her twice. The first time she didn't even get in the ring, and the second time she tagged herself in, stood there for 5 seconds, turned around, tried to tag herself back out. Dewdrop jumped off the rope and then she got pinned. Like, what is going on? You're getting rid of talent who are 10 times better than this to bring this back to then not use this. Like, if you're gonna bring it back, I mean, apparently she asked for like quite a big wage as well. She asked for more money than what Ruby Riott was on, and they've brought her back and give it her. Why?
There's something there. Maybe I'm hoping that it evolves into something. It's early days, but yeah, it doesn't look good at the minute.
No, but I agree with you. I don't understand why they pulled the trigger on it so soon. Like, we know that it's a steaming pile of shit that is Eva Marie. That's not even her fault. She can't wrestle. So have her do what Scarlett does for Karrion Kross. If you like her, if you think, oh, she's a pretty face, we can use her because she looks good, stick her with someone. But she can't wrestle. Right. So, and it's disrespectful to Piper Niven's talent to bring her up in Eva Marie's shadow. Like, Piper Niven is what? She's got probably 6 or 7 years less experience than Eva Marie, yet she's a million times more talented. Yet you've brought her up to debut her on Raw and give her a moment, but you've then had Eve Marie say that she won a singles match in the name of Eve Marie, not for herself, and now Eve Marie's just renamed her and give her a different name. This is so disrespectful to a woman who is so much better than this.
Yeah.
Just have Piper Niven come out as Piper Niven on her own and do her thing, because she's a million times better than
maybe that's what they're pushing towards, to get her in quick. You know what I mean?
But it's all too quick. Like, apparently they've WWE have they've actually rubber stamped that name. Like they've earmarked it, so you know, no one else can use it now.
Yeah.
But why have Doudrop turn on Eve Marie so soon? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Right. I want to know your best thing on NXT, because obviously NXT can't be bad. There is some bad bits in it, but ultimately it's a good show. What was your best bit in NXT?
The return of Roddy.
Diamond Mine. I'm surprised they went after Kushida.
Yeah.
Because you had Adam Cole and obviously Kyle O'Reilly beating the shit out of each other at ringside.
yeah.
And then they came in and sort of decimated Kushida, and it was a bit like, why are you going after the Cruise? Because I've forgotten the manager's name. That's it. Yeah, he picked up the Cruiserweight title and he went, "This is ours. This is going to be ours," and then put it over Kushida. And I was like, "Hang on, you should be going after Cross or even Bronson Reed."
Yeah.
Kushida. Why? I don't get that. But yeah. Also as well, just before we come off of NXT, obviously Killian Cross debuted, and so did Bronson Reed this week on Main Event. So if you haven't seen Main Event, go over to WWE Networks on there.
Yeah.
And they're also thinking of bringing up Cross without Scarlett.
Hey.
And also on the dark matches for SmackDown this week, Scarlett had a match with Shotzi.
Wow, Scarlett hasn't wrestled in like 5 years though.
So they're thinking of bringing Cross up without Scarlett. And to be fair, there was lots of criticism on Cross's entrance on Main Event. If you watch it, it doesn't work without her. It's so weird. It just doesn't work without her.
I don't think he works without her.
We'll see how it all plans out in the thingy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diamond Mind, yeah. Also, I just want to get, just before we come off on that and go on to SmackDown, we're probably going to overrun a little bit, but that doesn't matter. We always do. We love talking.
Yeah. My fault. I thought too much.
Was, now, what does the battery represent? Over the last 2 episodes of NXT, we've had a battery which has gone up 1%. Now it's up, I think it's up to 50% now. A lot of people think that may be Keith Lee, but I doubt it. But yeah, who could that be? Because there's the battery that appears and it's slowly charging. When it gets to 100%, who do you think that could be? I ain't got a clue.
I will be completely honest, Kev. I have no idea what you're talking about, mate.
You don't know?
Honestly, I don't know how, if it's been on 2 weeks, because I love NXT. I don't take my eyes off it. Yeah. Somehow, I've managed to miss it twice. I've not seen this.
2 weeks ago, they started off like a little video, and it had a picture of a phone battery, and it went 1%. And then further through the show, it came up again, and it said 4%, and it was just charging. This week, it went to 20%, and I think it's by the end of the show, it was at 50% charged. Wow. Haven't you seen it? It's a funny video, only lasts for a few seconds, and it's appearing in the weeks coming up. So maybe something's happening. Maybe it's going to be something to go into Great American Bash or something.
Yeah, someone will probably come back at the Bash, won't they?
But yeah, I'm just wondering I don't know who it could be, but I've heard things like Keith Lee or Finn Balor. That was it. But yeah, it's slowly charging. I don't know what it is. It's an interesting one. If you've not seen it, I'll send you a video of it and see what you. Yeah. But yeah, Diamond Mind. Yeah, that's really good. We'll see how that pans out.
I know that Malcolm Bivens is obviously the leader. He was with those two big, massive Indian guys, but then one of them got sacked because
No, they're still there.
No, one of them still there, but he's with another Indian guy. Really tall. The other one that he was originally with, he got sacked because he tweeted the end of the Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole match. Remember the back?
I thought it was the Keith Lee, where Keith Lee won the North American title. I think it was the title. Yeah.
But he tweeted the ending of it like 2 days before we'd seen it, so they binned him off. But I'm really happy that Roderick Strong's back, because I absolutely love Roddy. But it's going to be interesting. I've got a question for you though, just before we leave it today. Obviously, I feel a bit sorry for Bobby Fish. He's had a lot of injuries. He's like 46, 47 now. Clearly coming to the end of his career. Roderick Strong, I can see, leading this faction and doing really, really well and having a really good, career after Undisputed Era. Adam Cole's Adam Cole. Like, it doesn't matter whether he's in a tag team, whether he's in a faction, whether he's on. He's going to be incredible. Doesn't matter what. Kyle O'Reilly, I'm really happy that he's now getting a little bit of a more attention on just how talented of a wrestler he is. But one thing that I am a little bit gutted about is, why did Adam Cole not keep that music? Because he's had 3 different entrance musics now.
Yeah.
And he does the boom and he does the baby and he did it all in time for that music. It doesn't work with other music. But like, people going, well, that was an Undisputed Era thing. Well, Roman Reigns kept the Shield music.
Yeah, for a long time.
So why is Adam Cole not been allowed to keep the Undisputed Era music?
Don't know. Maybe they thought it might confuse people. I don't know. I don't know their thinking behind it, but I'm completely with you. I don't know why they didn't keep the Undisputed Era music for him. But I suppose it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just before SmackDown, surely to God, after Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly finishes at Great American Bash, surely Cole has to come up. Surely.
Yeah, there was discussions, actually. Someone posted that there were discussions a couple of weeks ago for bringing Adam Cole to SmackDown.
Right.
So I would imagine that's where they'll place him, because SmackDown needs a little bit of a boost with people at the moment. So yeah, I reckon maybe Kyle O'Reilly beats him and he moves up to SmackDown. We'll see how it all plays out in a couple of weeks, but it's going to be interesting. But yeah, there was talk of him moving up to SmackDown. I know that. So there was discussions now and then.
Well, speaking of SmackDown, what did you think?
I mean, why they pulled the trigger on Edge, I don't know. Maybe I know we're going to get. I mean, it was already announced, but I know that they wanted the dream match, is what they call it, which is Edge versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
they're going to get that out of SummerSlam. I know that for a fact. Why? Because Seth Rollins asked to be Roman Reigns' next opponent. On Talking Smackdown, which was on yesterday, Adam Pearce gave Edge the title shot at Money in the Bank. So at Money in the Bank, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Thing. Seth Rollins was there on the panel and went ballistic over it. So I reckon that Seth Rollins is going to cost Edge the match, which will then lead into the match at SummerSlam. Now, this is like the dream match. It's one of their dream matches that they've been banging on and building about. So I don't see him dropping the title. I don't see Roman Reigns dropping the title. And I see that progressing up. So
can I just throw something out there, though?
Yeah.
I agree. I think what they've got going with Reigns and the head of the table and the tribal chief and all this, he's not the head of the like. You can't go, I'm the tribal chief, I'm the head of the table, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the best. Like, you can't have him do this character and then take the title off him, and then have him carry on being I'm the head of the table. Well, you just got beat off Edge, mate, so you're clearly not. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't make much sense. But obviously, they need to take the belt off him at some point. The only thing that I want to throw out there is it's now a little over a decade since Edge had to announce his retirement. And this is his first singles match with fans since his return. I can't help but think, are they going to give him the belt? Purely for that reason. It's a little over a decade. You know, it's a little over the anniversary of it being a decade since he obviously had to retire. He's back, and this is his first singles match. And apparently there's going to be some. I think they're expecting 15,000 fans for Money in the Bank. So there's a lot of fans there. I'm completely with you. I get it because they obviously wanted to set up a match for Money in the Bank, but and it's the first week after Money in the Bank where the Raw and SmackDown's on the road again. I get it. If they want, I think it makes more sense for them bringing Edge back now if they want Edge to win the belt off Roman, because if they don't and they want Seth Rollins interfering that match and costing Edge, and then that leading to the SummerSlam match, well, you could have just had, you know, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a heel anyway. Have Seth Rollins beating up someone, and then Edge come out and save them. But you do that with fans. You do that the week after Money in the Bank when there's fans are back in the arena. You bring Edge back with that pop, and then obviously you get them in a rivalry leading to SummerSlam. It makes more sense for them to bring him back now if they're giving Edge the belt, because obviously they need to build up something with Roman. But I agree with you. If he doesn't, and I cannot see them taking the belt off Roman Reigns for a while yet. And if we're right, and Seth, or you're right, I should say, and Seth isn't interrupting, it begs the question, why bring Edge back? This is Edge. Why bring him back 3 weeks before there's live fans back in arenas? Why?
Yeah, the only reason I can think of is that they couldn't just go, we're going to have Seth Rollins versus Edge. There's going to have to be sort of a catalyst there. So making him go into a match with Roman, and then for Seth to cost Edge the title match, that would then obviously piss Edge off, and then would lead into their feud to SummerSlam. You know that they're building. Also, as well, it's worth noting that SummerSlam is on Saturday this year, but they're building it as if it's like a WrestleMania. So they're going all out, blockbuster things. I've heard rumors of like The Rock and John Cena being there.
Oh, that'd be good.
So I think they're going to go all out for that, and I think this is good. Up until the fans come back. So up until Money in the Bank, they're going to start gearing up now for when the live fans back. But I think from after Money in the Bank to SummerSlam, they're going to explode. As in, we're probably going to see some returns. We're probably going to see lots of people return as well, like John Cena maybe. You know, he hasn't ruled it out. He's already turned around when he's doing the promos for Fast and Furious. He's already turned around and said he will return to WWE.
Yeah.
He won't say when. He's also, as well, it's worth noting that he's going to be in the same. He's going to be in the same city as they're doing SummerSlam, but doing other things. He's already said that. He said, "Oh, you know,
right, of course, John.
He's going to be doing some promo work for a film."
Yeah.
But it's in the same city as SummerSlam.
What a coincidence, Kev. Out of the 2 million tiny cities that there are in the USA, he happens to be in the same one at the same time. I think I've heard the rumor. I think if it's true, it's huge, and that is Roman Reigns versus John Cena for the Universal title, and for John Cena to win it, and Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. Do you know what I would? That. Oh my God, can you imagine? Lashley and Brock. Wow, that's just going to be nuts. I hope you're right, mate. But what I say was, I know the Rock said he's never having a match. Honestly, I think it would be great to let him have what I want: Roman versus Rock at Mania, and Roman end the Rock's career. It makes sense. It's the Rock handing over the Samoan torch, if you will, to his cousin. And Roman Reigns is the Rock was the face of WWE.
I still think we'll have one more match. Look, when a lot of these people, when they say they retire, I mean, Batista's already said it. I've retired. Yeah, I've heard this before from many superstars that have said I'm retiring, and then they come back. They run out of money or they need something, and they always come back. So in that case, I would always say never, and I would imagine that The Rock would come back for a match, unless he's physically unable to. So if there's an injury stopping him to, he'll come back. I'm sure that if the money's right and he's in the same place, he'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking down at my notes from SmackDown, and there wasn't really anything else of note. I mean, what are they doing with Jay?
I was with you with that. Why is Jay gone? Where has he gone? Yeah. And why is Jimmy took over Jay's spot? I don't. You had all this build up between Jimmy and Jay. You thought, they're getting together, and then Jay's just disappeared. Well, why? And he's gone. Oh, he's not coming back. Well, why? And why is now Jimmy in the Jay spot? It's almost like they've got confused a bit like Roman did a couple of weeks ago. It's almost like they've got confused with who's who.
Yeah.
They're identical twins and they don't know who's who. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know what was going on there. I also don't know why there was only one qualifying match for the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, they need to step it up because there needs to be like 6 matches before Money in the Bank. So, or 3, or however many, I can't remember.
There's 8 competitors in each one. So we've got the last one on Raw this week. So I think that leaves 2 spaces open for SmackDown. 2 more. But yeah, and also as well, I want to point out that obviously we're probably going to get Bayley versus Bianca again.
Well, he's
seen Bianca clean in the ring. So
that's one of my notes. Yeah.
I can't.
What I actually wrote down here was I thought that Bianca come out, then Seth come out, and then Bayley came out, and I think, to be honest, especially Bayley and Seth, to be honest, I think it was a good promo.
Yeah.
It was one of the better promos that Bianca's done. Seth and Bayley crushed it. Cesaro obviously didn't say anything; he just come out and wrecked Seth. I actually thought that the 4 of them put on a pretty good match. The only thing that I've wrote down really is because I did just want to mention it. Bianca Belair's athleticism is outrageous. It's absolutely nuts what she can do. She's freakishly strong. I mean, I remember when NXT invaded Raw and SmackDown when they all got stuck on a plane in Dubai.
Yeah.
I remember her lifting. I think it might have been Carmella. She lifted Carmella up and launched her over these boxes, but the boxes were about 10 foot high. And she just launched her over it. It
wasn't that long ago. She did that obstacle course, didn't she, with Otis?
Yeah.
So.
So powerful, but her athleticism, she's again, I know people who don't like her because she's still young, she's still inexperienced, she's not been doing this that long, she is still learning. She's way ahead of the curve of where most people are, though, given the amount of experience that she has. I think she has a really bright future because the things that she's capable of are just insane. And people that are tearing apart her promos and stuff, she's married to Montez Ford. She's going to improve. I
mean, if she had the promo ability of Bayley, she'd be the perfect package. Then she's got the look, she's got the strength, and if she had the promo ability of Bayley, she'd have it all. Because I mean, Bayley's been doing this for years, but she kills it every time. I mean, you can't help but laugh sometimes on what she said. I love the banter that she has with Michael Cole. That's probably the funniest thing. Every time she tells Michael Cole to shut up, I was like, laugh. It's just so funny. But yeah.
the only bits that I've wrote down here, there's nothing really to talk about in depth, but I put Biggie and Apollo. I thought was a really good match. I did actually enjoy it. But like, as I was saying before, the best bits of a Money in the Bank qualifying match has always been it's someone new. It's a one-on-one match with two people that you either have never seen before, wrestle each other before, or haven't wrestled each other in a while. It's what makes those matchups interesting. So I am disappointed that the two that they've announced so far for SmackDown, we've obviously only seen the one. It's two matches that we've just had at a pay-per-view last week. Like, boring.
Yeah.
Think of something new. And I know that you were saying there's not much on SmackDown. So have Baron Corbin versus Big E.
Yeah.
Have Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Hopefully they go with a different direction with Baron Corbin now, because now he is now Baron and not King. So
yeah.
Hopefully they go in a different direction with him now. He's already turned around when he was watching Shinsuke's promo and stuff. He was a bit like, I'm done. Maybe he goes away, comes back with something new. He's a good worker. He's a good worker.
Yeah, I mean, the other things was Liv Morgan versus Carmella was it was all right. Nothing special. And what I put here that I wanted your opinion on, Jimmy Uso versus Dolph Ziggler. I was happy for Jimmy that he won.
Yeah.
I feel like Dolph Ziggler deserves more, but we've all been saying this for years now. And what I've actually put is, okay match should have been better. And I really do believe that. That match should have... That was the main event as well. That should have been so much better.
Yeah. I'm surprised Robert Roode didn't interfere more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or at least cost Jimmy so they could have had a tag team match, but it happened the way it happened. I'm surprised that... I mean, he pinned him cleanly, should I say. But do you you look at the Money in the Bank match, you look at like the Money in the Bank and stuff coming up. Like anyone in that Money in the Bank match, who do you think would win? I know we've got like 3 more spots to fill, which I think is going to go to Sami Zayn. I think he's going to win that spot, and then I think there's another SmackDown spot, which I think Shinsuke or Baron Corbin's going to win. But then when you look at the whole list. And you've got AJ, Randy Orton, and McIntyre. Now, I can only realistically see 3 of them winning it. But the point of the Money in the Bank is, it's something new, isn't it? It's someone we wouldn't. I mean, look at Otis. I know he didn't win it, he didn't cash it in, but he still had it for a while.
Yeah.
But realistically, who do you reckon could win the Money in the Bank?
I'm gonna stick with what I said earlier. I think Orton helps Riddle. I think it could be a really good lineup, because I think there's going to be 8 in it, 4 from each team, 4 from each brand, because we've already got Riddle, we've already got Ricochet, and we've already got John Morrison. Obviously, John Morrison pinned Randy Orton, and then there's going to be a triple threat for the last spot. So I'm going to go Randy Orton. So from Raw, you've got Orton, Riddle, John Morrison, and Ricochet. From SmackDown, we've already got E. It was E that won, wasn't
it? Big E at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, E. I'm with you. I think Sami Zayn will beat Owens. And there's 2 left there for SmackDown.
Okay, see that.
It's either going to be Corbin and Shinsuke, or maybe they do Corbin versus Shinsuke one more time. Maybe Corbin wins, and then have a triple threat like they did on Raw with Owens. Maybe Owens or Shinsuke sneaking away in.
Yeah, I think the best. Also, as well, I want to just say, I think the best option they have of taking the belt off of Roman.
Yeah,
is
Money in the Bank.
A massive match. And then for them to cash in after that match.
Yeah, of course.
He's laid out. The opponent's laid out. They cash in. He covers in 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
I mean, there used to be. I mean, over recent years that hasn't been the case. What's happened is they've done a cash in and then they've done a move, their finisher move. Years ago, when they used to do the cash ins, they used to just go, "Oh, cash in," and then they used to just pin them. And then what happened was Edge cashed in, didn't he? And then done the spear, and then pinned in 1, 2, 3 to win the world title. I think it was the Undertaker. I think it was. But ever since then, they've done a move. Why can't they just go, "Oh, we're going to cash it in," and then just go to the ring and pin the person laying in the ring? Why do they have to wait for him to get up or do a finisher move? I don't know, but it's just my mind going like, well, why can't they just pin him and that's it?
Yeah, I know. There's a lot that
they're already lying in the ring. It's effectively a match that they've started. It doesn't go on. Oh, if you can't pin for it, that's it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that was just so much better. But I agree. I think it's the best way of taking the belt off Roman and giving it to somebody else, but without ruining the whole head of the table character. Because
without making him look weak and keeping him strong, I think it's the best way.
Yeah, if you have Roman versus Edge in a hellacious match. Obviously, this is too soon. It's just an example. Yeah. Seth. You have Roman versus Seth in an insane match that lasts half an hour where they beat the shit out of each other, and then you have Riddle, who's obviously say Riddle's won Money in the Bank. You have Riddle come out, smash him with a briefcase, knock him clean out. 1, 2, 3, game over.
Yeah.
I think another thing as well that I want to say, you kind of plucked a little interesting image out of my head earlier when you said Seth costs Edge, because you've got to really think what that means on a deeper level. Seth is currently a heel. Roman's currently a heel. They're the only two ex-Shield members left.
Yeah.
Seth costing Edge. Another way of wording that would be Seth helps Roman.
Yeah.
So I think that as well creates another really interesting dynamic moving forward.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah. It's all to play for, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good things going on. I mean, Edge. I mean, you messaged me. Have you seen Smackdown yet, mate? My reply was, "On this day, I see clearly," in capital letters. I was so excited. And then my next message to you was, "Did you see the size of Edge?" Like, I watched Edge at WrestleMania with my fiance, and Nat said, "Don't Edge's arms look like really skinny?" When you look back at that match, his arms do look really skinny, like the skin on his triceps is like dead saggy and it looks really old. You see the size of his arms and chest and shoulder.
Yeah,
I mean, he's spent the last few months in that gym.
Yeah, he's definitely been there bulking up, but then I suppose he has to if he's going up against Roman.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm liking the fuller beard as well now. Before it was all sort of greyish. He looked. To be fair, I'm great that he came back and everything. But when he returned after the Royal Rumble, he looked very old.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. He just looked very tired, very old. But he absolutely looks jacked now. He's gone away and he's I don't know what he's done, but keep it up because he's looking 100 times better than he did when he returned.
Oh yeah, I think what happened was he trimmed like bit, because obviously I don't know if you've seen Vikings. I've seen it all. I don't know if you've seen Vikings. He was in that and he had a really long grey beard, so I think he's obviously like trimmed most of it off after he'd finished filming. But because he's like trimmed the side bits, because he'd lost so much weight while filming for Vikings anyway, because I can't say because it gives away a storyline for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. But he had to lose a fair bit of weight for a very specific reason on Vikings. But then when he came back, because of his age, his face looked really gaunt and grey, and his like cheekbones was like sticking out because he'd lost so much weight. I think that's what he's been doing after Mania. I think that the plan originally was for Edge to win the title at Mania. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if Edge said, "Look, I'm not in shape. I'm not going to be, the sort of champion that isn't there every week. I want to have the belt when I'm going to be there every single week." And I think he knew himself that he wasn't in shape in order to do that. I mean, look, I agree with you. He's grown his beard out a little bit, and so you can't really see his cheekbones anymore. But his bulk up, his shoulders and his chest and his biceps and triceps look massive.
They do.
So I think he has got himself probably in the best shape he's ever been in his life, and he's 46.
Oh yeah, but well, that's it. I think we should leave it there. I think until next week. But yeah, what a great show.
Another great show. I think we'll probably more than likely be going live at some point midweek, whether it be to talk about Raw or talk about. I think we'll do Raw because it's different. I mean, I think we spoke about Raw for about 40 minutes, but
it's difficult to get a 3-hour show in that time in it. Yeah.
Well, we're talking for an hour, but we're trying to do Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and the first one that we did, Albie managed it in an hour and 20 minutes. I think we should both give ourselves a pat on the back because we did Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and Hell in a Cell. A lot. I think so. Anyone that is watching this probably will be going live probably Tuesday afternoon. Well, I think it's better, especially now, because I agree with you. Now we're only 3 weeks from fans coming back, and we're only 2 days out from 1 day out. Raw's tomorrow night. Then it'll be 2 weeks until live fans. They are stepping it up now, so I think moving forward, I think we have to do a midweek show to just discuss Raw.
Yeah,
because there's so much in it.
I think trying to cram it in is a bit much. I think what's going on. I mean, we brushed over NXT, and there
and there was a lot I wanted to talk about NXT, but Raw took up so much time.
Yeah, I think we'll going forward. We'll do sort of Raw maybe like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday, and then we'll do NXT and SmackDown on the Sunday show.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I think that's brilliant. I think that's what we need to do. Yeah. But yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So I've been Kev.
I've been Dan.
And we'll see you at the next stream.